Hello and welcome, I am HenryPlays and this is my review of 2 Point Hospital. This video is going to be part of a new series called Games Pass Reviews, where I'll find new games on the Xbox and PC Games Pass and review them to see if it's a game that suits you. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy, please subscribe so that you do not miss any future content. As for the structure of this video, there'll be a description of the game, review and a final conclusion. All of the timestamps for which will be on the screen right now, so without any further ado, let's get on with the video. For those of you that don't know, 2 Point Hospital is a hospital simulator game where you build your own hospital from scratch and tackle the fictional illnesses that the game throws at you. The game starts off easy with some easy to cure illnesses, whilst eventually progressing to some harsher conditions and tougher illnesses. This is all introduced to you though in a campaign setting where each hospital you create has a 1 to 3 star rating. You are given small objectives to help you to complete the level and achieve that 3-star rating. I did mention earlier that all of the illnesses in this game are fictional. One of the main ones and more funnier ones is the rockstar illness that you require a psychiatry ward for. Everybody in a certain city or town thinks they are a rockstar and they have to go and talk to a therapist in order to get that out of their heads basically. The game turns every illness into a comedic factor by either making it sound funny or making it look funny. The rockstar illness makes every single patient look like Freddie Mercury. There is also a clown illness where everybody in a certain city thinks they're a clown. In order to cure that illness, they have to go through a machine called the dehumidifier. So specialised illnesses require specialised machinery, and sometimes even specialised qualifications. However, generally, each hospital starts off the same way. You want a receptionist, a GP's office, pharmacy, and general diagnosis. Then slowly but surely, the specialised illnesses start to head your way. If any of you were playing computer games between the late 90s and 2000s, you may remember a game called Theme Hospital. This game is a spiritual sequel to that game, and basically plays the same way, just with a little bit of a facelift. Overall, my experience with 2 Point Hospital has been pretty fantastic. I personally haven't really experienced any bad things. However, there are a number of positives about this game which I do wish to go into and talk about. The first one being how easy and quick to learn the entire game is. You'd think that managing a hospital and its employees and patients would take time to get used to and learn about, but no, not really. The tutorial's kind of fantastic in that way. The game gives you objectives to keep track of, it gives you hints that come up in the bottom right hand corner when something's going wrong. It basically sets you up to succeed from the beginning. Another positive that I have about this game is about how fun and upbeat and happy the entire environment is, despite it being in a hospital. There is constantly a radio playing in the background and announcements that come up regularly. These announcements can be anything like a janitor to go in, unclog a toilet, or a doctor needed in a certain room, but every now and then they put a funny twist on it. One of my personal favourites is a passive-aggressive quote that they say, "We're sorry about the litter that you dropped on our floor," or just generally funny and immoral ones like VIP arriving. Please prioritise their amusement over patient well-being. There's hundreds of small little tidbits in this game that make it a really enjoyable experience compared to other less funny simulator and strategy games. Another great thing about this game is how challenging some of the different levels can be. You may think that there's only a certain level of difficulty that the game may be able to get up to with a strategy or simulator game, but no, the game constantly challenges you with different factors, whether it be heating in certain places or the experience of certain staff members. In the level Milton University, you are constantly battling the cold of the actual hospital and the inexperience of all the staff members. You are constantly challenged to juggle other things like building new radiators and making staff training rooms, whilst also ensuring that all the patients that are already at the hospital are being treated for their certain ailments. Another great thing about this game is how large it is. Not download size, the download size is actually pretty small, I think it's less than 10 gig. But in that 10 gig, there are hundreds and maybe even thousands of hours of playtime. I myself have put in between 10 and 20 hours on the game across PC and Xbox alone, and I'm only up to about the 7th or 8th actual hospital. Considering I'm playing this game for free because I got it on the Xbox Games Pass, I'm kind of at least getting my money's worth. Not even to mention the sandbox feature that I personally haven't really played around with. I've only really been doing the campaign and the levels. However, after some quick research online, it is clear to see that there are still some issues with the game. The only really minor issue that I wouldn't really even call an issue that I've experienced myself is how much idle time there is in the game. You're constantly waiting around for objectives to be complete, money to be made, or patients to be cured, whilst you just really can't do anything in the meantime. The argument could be made that that is standard in games like this. You have to wait around for your actual hospital or situation to grow before you can continue to develop. I'm only saying this to inform you that there is quite a bit of waiting around. One of the primary complaints that I've seen online is the fact that the game is very poorly optimized on the Switch. The game is constantly crashing, has countless amount of bugs, and the controls are apparently very unplayable. I have only really played it on Xbox and PC, and the controls have been just fine on both of them, with a little bit of a learning curve for the controls on Xbox, and it takes a minute to get used to, but after you've been playing it for an hour, you will not notice. You'll just sink straight into it. There has also been many reports of game-breaking glitches on the Steam version of the game, and how that is also as unplayable as the Switch version is. I've only really been playing the game on the Xbox app on PC, and I haven't played it on Steam at all, but I can see how the different platform may not be as optimized for the game, and how it may have an older update version, and how that might be a problem. If you are playing this game through the Games Pass, you'll be playing it on the Xbox platform on PC anyway, so you don't really have anything to worry about. Another in-game experience problem is sometimes the objectives that they give you don't really make sense. In one of the public health levels, you have to apply for more public funding, and to do that you have to unclog a certain amount of toilets and water a certain number of plants. It just seems like that isn't really relevant in the scheme of the actual hospital, but whatever it takes to get some more money, hey? And finally, some layout problems like narrow walls can tend to lead to bugs and glitches where pathing's involved. In one of the later hospitals, I had a problem where some of my staff members weren't going to the toilet because they couldn't find where it was due to the narrowness of the walls. This also meant that they could not find the staff room to take their breaks, and they were constantly tired and threatening to leave. This was frustrating at the time due to the fact that I had spent lots of money training the staff members so that they could have the certain capabilities and qualifications that I needed them to have at that hospital, their speciality. However, overall, I think this is an absolutely fantastic game to play, whether you're trying to kill some time or you're trying to sink your teeth into a big, long, strategic simulation game. Whether you're sitting around on the couch on a Friday night after a long day of work, wanting to chill out, or whether you're waking up in the middle of the night needing something to do, it's the perfect game just to fill some time. We're not even mentioning the fact that it's a fantastically family-friendly game which can be enjoyed by all ages. As I've said, my favourite part of the game is how in-depth it goes. You can look at all of the individual patient's handbook to see what their problem is and what they need to do. You can even look at the financial documents of the hospital to see how you've performed over the last 12 months to see whether you are growing. All of the requirements for a perfect business management game are all present in 2 Point Hospital, but nevertheless the game still provides you a challenge. It gives you something to put all of your effort into to ensure that it runs smoothly and perfectly. I completely recommend this game to anybody who loves simulation games or similar business management games, because you definitely won't regret it and you'll find yourself spending hours and hours sitting there micromanaging your hospital. Well, that about wraps it up. Thank you all very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so that you do not miss any future related videos. Check out my other social medias down in the description and comment down below with any questions or queries that you may have. This has been my very first video, and thank you all very much for watching. Have a great day. Ciao.